What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hey, happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and today it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I am your coach and host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and our topic of the hour is getting to the heart of the matter. And when I say heart, I do mean heart health, heart disease, and I'm going to come at you from a controversial angle today. How about that? We've never done that before, right? We've never been controversial on the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. No. We bring only scientific information to you that is not needing to be fact-checked or anything to that effect, especially when it comes to your heart health. But listen, this show exists so that you learn something you didn't know. You investigate the reasons behind why things are the way they are, with the hope that you become your own doctor and start taking care of yourself. You know, this frame is worth quite a lot of money. There was a recent FBI study done. If you were to sell all of your body parts on black market, and I mean a square inch of your skin, your left cornea, your right kidney, you could fetch upwards in the neighborhood of several billion, with a B, $billion. So you're worth quite a bit. And this health hour, we're going to talk to you about your ticker. All right, we're doing an entire series over the next couple of weeks on heart health, but taking it from a functional approach, way different than what many of you have been told. And I'm going so deep into this that we're not going to have enough time. I mean, I could do 7 weeks, 4 hours a week, and we're barely just scratched the surface of this heart health issue. So today's show is called Getting to the Heart of the Matter, the heart of what's going on with heart disease. And like always, I've got some ebooks for you guys. We literally just polished this one off. In fact, it's rough draft. We're calling it right now the Diet Heart Connection, or the myths between your diet and your heart. Learn how to prevent and treat heart disease naturally. So if you want this free ebook, now's your time. 704-906-2094. You can call in, and not only do you get the ebook, but I am hosting I'll call it Carolina Holistic Heart Summit. Okay, that's going to be on the 16th of July. It's a couple weeks away, but we are literally packing this one. The online event can hold 500 people. Our thyroid event had 400 people registered for it. So let's shoot for the moon and max out this webinar room. 500 people. We can do it. Diet, heart, myth. We're going to talk about this today. What is the heart of the matter behind your heart? And what is the myths that you've been told? And again, if you want access to the webinar, it's 704-906-2094. If you want this brand new ebook, the Diet Heart Myth Connection, and listen, this thing is massive, all right? Massive. It's literally almost an entire book in and of itself. Not a 14-page ebook, but like a 100-page ebook, okay? So it is all free for you because we always give stuff away for free, but you have to take an action for that. 704-906-2094. is how you get that. You can text your name and your email, and we'll send it straight to you. And you'll get registered for the July 16th Carolina Holistic Heart Summit. Okay, so getting to the heart of the matter. Let's just talk about your heart for a second. A lot of people say your heart is the most important organ in your body. Can't live without it, and that's true, but there's an organ more important than your heart, and that's the one that tells your heart what to do. So I believe your brain and your nerve system are more important, but your heart literally beats 2.5 billion times with an average lifespan. Now that would mean, into like the 80s. 2.5 billion beats, that's a lot. Each day it does 100,000 pumps. It's the most efficient pump that we know on the planet. We've never created a human pump that can do as much. It pushes not only just blood, but we're talking food and oxygen and white blood cells and proteins and hormones, and everything is found inside of your blood. And it's also a detox organ. See, a lot of people don't realize your heart is what's responsible for pushing pressure against the toxins to get them out of your organs and put them into your kidneys so you can urinate them out, put them into your bowels so you can defecate them out. And watch this, push the fluids into your lungs so you can exhale them out. The heart itself is so powerful. Watch this, guys. if you were to literally cut it out of your chest and place it onto a countertop, it would beat for up to 10 minutes by itself. But once it runs out of its energy supply, because it's no longer connected to the energy supply, it stops. I don't know any other organ that can function for 10 minutes outside of your body, with the exception of your heart. So obviously, this extraordinarily performing organ is going to need some help. Now, you would think it would heal by itself. I mean, if it can pump for 10 minutes by itself, if it can push all the fluids and all the organs and the cell tissues around in your body, you'd think it'd be able to heal itself. And it can. Listen to this. It can under the right circumstances. Now, our diet and what you guys consider to be the foods you eat, the amount of exercise, the toxicities, the amount of pesticides, there are so many connections between things you're doing or you're not doing that are affecting your heart. And listen, the medical community wants you to believe that heart disease and its subcomponents, stroke and, atherosclerosis and cholesterol plaquing, all the things that come up with heart disease, that they're normal, especially as you get older, right? So like when you hit 50, a little bit of chest pain here and there, go in, a small blockage, no worries, angioplasty, stents, we got your back, you're good. This idea that atherosclerotic plaquing, the hardening of your arteries, is normal as you get older has become the mainstream mantra of medicine. In fact, if you were to ask a medical doctor, how do I prevent heart disease? They would say, well, cut out the saturated fats, don't eat any butter, go exercise, take your statins, and pray and hope that you don't end up with heart disease. Now, unfortunately, we know today diet is linked, but not the way you think. That's why we have the Diet Heart Myth ebook for you guys, which you can download, for free. 704-906-2094. Just text your name and email. 704-906-2094. So you get the ebook for free. It has everything inside of there. But listen, even Harvard is now saying that the fate of your heart is no longer left to a roll of the dice. According to Harvard, I'm going to read a quote for you. A healthy lifestyle, especially when started at a young age, goes a long way to prevent cardiovascular disease. Lifestyle changes can nip heart-harming trends like high blood pressure or high cholesterol in the bud before they cause damage. So the statement sounds, oh my gosh, fantastic, doesn't it? But there's one problem. What is considered a healthy heart lifestyle? How do you implement this so you can prevent heart disease and maybe even heal and reverse heart disease? So listen to this. I did some digging for you guys. They claim it's animal fat, right? You're eating too much red meat. You're eating too much butter. Oh my gosh, you cooked your eggs in lard and you ate eggs. You're going to die of a heart attack. So watch this. Did you know that veganism, so eating nothing but plants, is actually a greater risk for ischemic stroke and other heart-related cardiovascular issues? And if you don't believe me, listen to the Journal of Nutrition published in June of last year, 2021. The title says, A Systematic Review of the Association Between Vegan Diets and the Risk for Cardiovascular Disease. So, listen to the title. Does veganism increase or decrease your risk for heart disease? Now, you would think, oh my gosh, a vegetarian who has given up eggs and no longer eats animal products, has gone fully vegan, they should have the healthiest heart on the planet. They eat no meat, they eat no animal products, no butter, no eggs, no red meats. Their heart should be fantastic. Now listen, 73,426 vegans were studied. And they couldn't find a single significant reduction in cardiovascular disease. So wait a second. No reduction when you go vegan. In fact, the article actually said there's evidence that vegans have a greater risk. Okay, published 2021 in June, the Journal of Clinical Nutrition, a systematic review of the association between vegan diets and risk for cardiovascular disease. So if veganism isn't good for your heart, surely exercise must be, right? Did you know that in July of 2020, though, the Cleveland Clinic, who is literally famous for advancing the profession of cardiovascular heart health. So like you guys think about it, the Cleveland Clinic. It's like, oh my God, the Cleveland Heart Clinic. They recently reported that if you exercise the wrong way, you can increase your risk for heart disease. They defined extreme exercise as the CrossFit, Burn Boot Camp, Orange Theory, HIIT trainings. And according to them and the research that they have, this high intensity exercise actually increases your risks for heart attack and other cardiovascular related issues like arrhythmias, tachycardias, bradycardias, etc. So where do we find this? Just go to the Cleveland Clinic and type in exercise and heart disease. Now watch this. Okay, so you can't be a vegan for your heart. And if you are, wake up. Okay, the research says you're actually hurting your heart. You can't work your heart out. There's no more cardio exercising that fits. So what about supplements, right? Like surely if you take a lot of supplements, calcium, magnesium, vitamins, that you're fine. Your heart's going to be healthy. Well, listen to this. In April of this year, 2022, U.S. News and World Report issued a warning about taking calcium and vitamin D at the same time. The article says that if you take calcium or calcium with D on a regular basis, you significantly increase your risk for atherosclerotic plaquing or hardening of your arteries, which thus increases your risk for heart disease. So do you see this problem? We have this myth that you need to be a vegan, you need to cut out all animal fats, you need to get rid of butter, you need to work out, you need to take your supplements, and your heart will be healthy. Now listen, okay? Heart healthy fish oils, right? Some of you go to the local health food stores and you buy your omega oils. Well, Healthline recently put out an article saying that you might want to put those fish oils back, especially if you think they're helping your heart. The study was published on healthline.com that says new research is now suggesting that if you take omega-3 fatty acids, these are fish oil, guys, it's an increased risk for atrial fibrillation if you have high triglycerides, which most people with heart disease have high triglycerides. That's the fat in their blood. So their cholesterol is high, their triglycerides are high. Their doctor says you're a ticking time bomb and you want to go take fish oils. You have an increased risk for atrial fibrillation. They even stated this, listen to the quote, "The relationship between omega-3 and heart health is more complicated than we thought." More complicated? What it shows you is you can't swallow a pill to fix your heart. Now, it goes even deeper, right? Well, what if you do meditation and yoga and you bring your blood pressure down, right? I've got super low blood pressure, therefore I'm at zero risk for heart disease, right? Well, not according to the Imperial College of London, who in 2016 published one of the most controversial studies ever. And here's the title, so you can Google this. Ready? Low blood pressure may be associated with heart attack risk in some patients. The authors pointed out this: if your blood pressure is less than 120/70, you have an increased risk for myocardial death, heart attacks, and hospitalizations due to heart failure. Now listen, here's what gets crazy. They said in this article the only thing that low blood pressure is good for is not having a stroke. There was no connection between low blood pressure and no heart disease. So wait a minute, you go to your doctor and they do what? They put you on the scale first, right? Well, you weigh 200 pounds, and they do your blood pressure and they read your pulse because they're screening you for heart health issues. So you come in and you're like 168 lean pounds and your pressure's 100/70, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're a saint. The likelihood of you having a heart attack is near zero. Oh, you take fish oils, you're on your vitamin D, you work out 3 times a week, and you're a vegan? Your heart's going to last forever." And yet the research, guys, says the opposite. Now, this one's going to blow your mind, and literally it has caused a course correction in healthcare. 2011, quite some time ago, the Journal of Epidemiology published this article. Now listen, I want you all to listen to this. I'm going to read this word for word. Low cholesterol is associated with death from strokes, heart disease, and cancer. This is called the GCHI Medical School Cohort Study, JICHI, GCHI or GCHI Medical School Cohort Study. Someone's going to correct my pronunciation. I'm waiting for it on Facebook or on YouTube. But listen, I'm going to tease you because we have a whole segment I have to do on how to fix all this. In 2011, this study says, according to the authors, if your total cholesterol is under 160, you have an increased risk for cardiovascular death and cancer and stroke. And now here's where it gets even crazier. The study said that high cholesterol over 240 is not associated with the risk for cardiovascular death, stroke, or cancer. Did you hear that? Low cholesterol has an increased risk for mortality from heart disease, whereas high cholesterol over 240 does not. Now, again, I told you, rocked the world, 2011. It's been buried so heavily, I guarantee you haven't heard this. And I have another teaser for you. Did you know that cholesterol numbers have been changing? And they're making them go lower and lower and lower because of something we'll talk about in segment 2. So don't go anywhere today. But listen to this. In the 1940s, normal cholesterol was defined as anything under 280 milligrams per deciliter. Can you imagine if you went in and you said, hey, doc, run my blood, and it comes back as 280? Today, they would be doing an emergency, bypass surgery, and they'd be putting you on a statin immediately. They would go, run over to room number 2. We're going to give you a drip of statins, and we may have to crack your chest open. That's today. Now listen, in 1960, they switched it from 280 to 222, and it wasn't until the year 2000 that we started saying, no, 200 or less. So today, if you're listening to my voice, and you go to your doctor, they're going to say, oh my God, your cholesterol is 210, statins immediately. But now watch this, guys. That didn't used to be what we always did. In 1983, a medical doctor would never even give you a statin. You know why? The first statin to be prescribed wasn't until 1986, and it was lovastatin. September 1st, 1987. The first statin was prescribed in the United States. And what's interesting is, since 1987, the cholesterol numbers for therapy are going down and down and down. And I'm going to talk to you why in a moment, but listen to this. In 1986, a medical doctor would only freak out and prescribe a prescription if your cholesterol was over 320. 320. That was 1986. Statins come out, and just 3 years later, they say, no, we need to lower it to 240 to prescribe. Now look at that jump. 320, 1986, 1990, 240. Now these numbers, by the way, are the American Heart Association guidelines for the prescription of a statin. Okay, and I pulled this off the American Heart Association historical documents of cholesterol. And listen, it wasn't until 2000 that they said, hey, 225 or higher we should prescribe. And today, 2020, the recommendation is now if you're over 200. So listen to this. In 1986, if your cholesterol was 310, change your diet a little bit and let's watch and see what happens. In 1990, 247, let's just change your diet and no drugs yet. Let's see what happens. In the year 2000, 226, prescriptions of statins. In the year 2020, 201 prescriptions of statins. If you know what I'm talking about, where your doctor's been barking at you because of your cholesterol being too high, man, you need to wake up. There is something known as the cholesterol saturated fat myth, the diet heart myth, and I am going to blow the lid on that when we come back from our commercial break. And I'm teasing you because you have to understand one thing. We have it wrong. And I found some research, dug it out of the archives, where the sugar industry paid some scientists to erase the word sugar and put the word fat because a medical physiologist found a connection between saturated fats and cholesterol. But the research said, oh, no, it's sugar and cholesterol, not saturated fats. So listen to this. If you're taking a statin, it's time to wake up. If you have a heart health issue, it's time to download this free Heart Diet Myth ebook that I just finished writing. It's free, guys. 704-906-2094. You can call or text your name and email. Not only do you get the ebook for free, but again, on July 16th, I'm hosting the Carolina Holistic Heart Summit. I'm going to show you everything. I have gobs of research on how they have screwed up heart health in the United States, and they're making billions off of it. Number two, what actually causes heart disease? It's not cholesterol, it's not fat, it's not animal proteins. If anything, what I shared with you earlier shows you if you're a vegan and you're taking supplements and you're working out, you're making your heart worse. So what do we do to fix our heart? Well, stick around for the second segment. I'm going to go through all of that, but I have to blow the lid on this thing called the cholesterol saturated fat myth. We'll do that when we come back, and this is your chance right now. Again, grab the ebook for free. It's the Diet Heart Myth. It connects the dots between what you're eating and how it creates heart disease, but not because of saturated fats and cholesterol. It'll show you how to find out if your heart is healthy the right way and the tests you can do at home to discover if your heart is truly healthy. So no more angioplasties, no more stents. We'll talk about that when we come back, but now, what is the actual cause of heart disease and how do you fix it? Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this commercial. And right now, the call lines are open, 704-906-2094 for this free Diet Heart Myth ebook and access to the webinar that I'm hosting called the Carolina Holistic Heart Summit. And that is on Saturday, July 16th. I know it's a bit away, but guess what? It's going to fill up so fast, we have to announce it now. And that's literally now. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield with Greenfield Water Solutions, and I want to introduce you to our newest product, the MR500. It's a whole house structured water filter system. It's set up in an all stainless steel multi-round filter housing. It features inlet and outlet for the water, a bleeder valve for when you're changing out the filters to reduce pressure, and to remove the top for access to the filters, just simply open up the clamp, remove the top, and this plate here holds all the filters in place. Simple to remove. It comes out, and you can see what we have on the inside here. It's 5 Aquamedics filters and a vortexing tube and a harmonizer. That's the whole system. This is designed to filter 5 gallons per minute, and all of the contaminants that it does remove are listed on the website, which is a very broad array of contaminants. These are the highest rated filters that I know of on the market that are filter cartridges. They can be changed out yearly, and of course the process is very simple. You won't have to hire a plumber to do a change out, and the filters are available from Greenfield Water Solutions. And if you want to know more about this, you can read about it on the product page or give us a call. Thanks for watching. That's it for now from Greenfield Water Solutions.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
To bring you the best natural wine the world has to offer, we've designed a fully curated membership program. Every selection you receive is different and unique. Every wine is picked by our wine team, lab tested for purity, and curated into a special box for your enjoyment. So how does the membership work? We offer 2 main options, a half case of 6 bottles or a full case of 12. You can request all reds, all whites, or a perfect split of both. Then you can set the frequency, monthly or every other month. We offer a similar simple membership for rosé and sparkling wines. After you choose these basic options, we'll do the rest. With every box we send you, we aim to present the greatest diversity of flavors, textures, and profiles. There's a healthy mix of the classics, but also rare varietals. We do this because natural wines taste different from their commercial counterparts. We want to share the best possible experience with you, so you can discover new wines you love. And you can always reorder a wine that took your heart, or ask us to avoid certain profiles. The best part is, you don't need any wine knowledge to fully enjoy these boxes. We curate our selections to be enjoyed without worry. Ultimately, this is Dry Farm Wines. We are so grateful to be able to share the power of natural wines with you.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're tuning in and listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host today, Dr. Ernst, and I love that we get to show you how to become your own physician. Hey, we say this show is where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. And in my world, that becomes a fact of you becoming knowledgeable, you learning about your health, taking a step aside from letting someone else control your health. For example, your physicians or your insurance or things to this effect. Owning up to the fact it's your body, it's your responsibility. And if you want to learn how to heal yourself from a condition, no matter what that is, AskDrErnst.com is a great resource for you. All you do is click the magnifying glass, type in whatever you're looking for help with: thyroid, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, MS, Parkinson's, psoriasis, allergies. You pick whatever you want, and all of the information loads in regards to a holistic method. You can start learning. You can start taking classes. You can watch our webinars, our videos. They're all online for free at AskDrErnst.com. And during our health hour today, we're talking about getting to the heart of the matter in regards to your heart health. What is the actual problem with our hearts today? Because if you go back to the 1920s, think of it this way. The likelihood of someone dying from heart disease is near zero. 1920. Now, there was a period of time where heart disease was becoming worse and worse and worse, and it peaked around 1960. So the highest rates of heart disease ever were in the 1960s. Now, if we do some history here, this is where it gets a little crazy. A lot of what you believe about your heart and the protocols behind techniques to make it healthy, that's all relatively recent, meaning from the 80s and 90s. So 1980, 1990. Now, how did all of this stuff happen? And where did we start vilifying or saying that cholesterol causes heart disease, or eating animal fats causes heart disease? And this idea that if you are a red-blooded American who likes their steak, bloody with potatoes and et cetera, if you eat red meats, you're going to die of a heart attack. How did all of this start? Well, chances are you've been told a lie about this thing called the lipid hypothesis. Now, what I love about the phrase hypothesis is it's a guess. So in the beginning, and when I say beginning, I mean 1856, there was a German pathologist. His name was Rudolf Virchow, and that's even if I'm pronouncing it right. He was the first person to discover that an artery that's blocked is full of something called blood fat. Now, they didn't call it cholesterol because they hadn't really figured out that cholesterol could do this yet. But this pathologist in 1856 connected the dots between, wait a minute, this person died and their arteries are full of fat, okay? And it made the artery hard. So the term atherosclerosis comes from two German words that mean the hardening of an artery. And it was coined by Felix Marchand. He's a German pathologist who in 1904 described the hardening of an artery in a scientific journal as being the result of accumulation of a fatty substance. Now, again, I'm putting air quotes up. They didn't know that it was cholesterol, but it gets even deeper. In America, we didn't jump on the cardiovascular cholesterol train until 1940. When a physiologist named Ansel Keys first connected the dots between the fact there's cholesterol in that fat and that if you eat saturated fats, that could elevate your cholesterol in your blood. And he made this assumption, if cholesterol blood was high, it could get stuck in the arteries, and that would explain this blood lipid that Rudolf Virchow found in 1856, and it might explain this fatty substance that Felix Manchard found out in 1904. So Ansel Keys in the U.S. came up with this thing called the lipid hypothesis, and it states this: if your diet is high in saturated fats, which is lard and butter and animal fats, red meats, etc., that causes an elevation in blood cholesterol, and that can cause heart disease. So notice, it was A, first, your diet was too much fat. B, your blood cholesterol levels would go up. And C, they would get in the arteries. Well, there's a problem with that philosophy. He took A, diet, and C, and said diet causes heart disease. but he skipped the fact that the cholesterol elevation might not be caused by diet. He is credited with what we now call the Mediterranean diet, where it has been shown in studies that if you eat the Mediterranean diet, the amount of plaque in your arteries can go down. But it's not because the cholesterol goes down, it's just the inflammation disappears. So in theory, the Mediterranean diet might reduce your risk for heart disease. But here's what's interesting. Did you know there's no such thing as a Mediterranean diet? Because watch, there are 18 countries that border the Mediterranean Sea, and every single one of them has a different diet. So you could be like, well, which Mediterranean country follows the Mediterranean diet? Technically, none of them do. It's like a merger of all of them. What are the Italians and the Greeks and the Sardinians and the Maltans and the Spanish, the Spaniards? What do they eat? Well, they eat a lot of olives. So olives are Mediterranean diet. Oh, they use a lot of olive oil. So let's call that olive oil Mediterranean diet. Well, they eat a lot of fish. So let's call fish Mediterranean. Do you see how insane this is? So this Mediterranean diet was literally tagged and created because Ansel Keys, not even a medical doctor, said if you eat a lot of saturated fats, you're going to have high cholesterol, and that's going to cause damage to your heart. And he said what you should do is replace those animal fats. Get rid of lard, get rid of grease, get rid of bacon, right? But people still eat that. Get rid of butter. And start eating polyunsaturated fats, like those found in plants. Now, there's a good side to that. Olive oil is a great polyunsaturated fat. But he went even further and said, well, any vegetable oil is a good polyunsaturated fat. Wesson, corn, canola, etc. So as of today, I'm going to ask you a question. Is cardiovascular disease better or worse? Do we have higher rates or lower rates? And what's crazy is, we have higher rates of the condition, but we have better outcomes. So there's this graph floating around, and this is in the ebook, just so you guys can see this, that shows that cholesterol and cardiovascular disease were climbing and climbing and climbing, and it hit 1960, the highest rates. It was like 450 as a rate of death per year. So the number of people, not the number of people, but the incidence and the rate that you could die at. You had like a 450% chance in 1960 that you were going to have a heart attack. Well, they claim it's because it took 20 years for America to adopt Ansel Keys' diet. Okay, he proposed his diet in 1940. And from 1940 to 1960, the American government, the American Heart Association said, no more butter, no more fat. Grandma's way of cooking is out. You need to use processed vegetable oils. Stop eating fat. Everything became low fat. Like nobody drank whole milk anymore. It was skim milk. And yogurts were no longer fatty. They were low fat. And we got worse until 1960. And here's the crazy thing. 1960 was equated as being the best year for heart health. Why? Because Americans finally listened to Ansel Keys and stopped eating red meats. No! In 1960, the first ever official credited procedure was done called an angioplasty. Go figure. We implemented a technique in the 1960s, and it gained traction in 1970 called balloon angioplasty. That's where they take a catheter and they thread this balloon into the artery with the plaque. By the way, this is in the ebook, and they poof the artery open and they stretch it, and then the blood flows through. Then they go, all right, you're good. Now watch. Would that prevent you from dying if you had a blocked artery? Yes. So the death rates of cardiovascular disease start going down. Why? We can detect it with better technology. We came up with a procedure that can open the vessel that's blocked, and we can rapidly restore the blood flow. So all of a sudden, heart disease starts going down. And you know what the government says? Well, Americans are finally no longer eating beef. And the grandmas have all died, and so lard is no longer around, and Ansel Keys was right. No! Now listen, it gets even crazier. The original balloon angioplasty was temporary because it would push the vessel open just enough to restore blood flow, but over time the vessel would close down. So in 1990, a physician figured out, well, if we don't just do the angioplasty, but we put a metal cage called a stent inside that same vessel, poof the vessel open, put a stent inside there to keep the vessel from closing, we can keep it. Stenting an artery began in 1980. Now watch this, guys. The graph shows a drastic drop right there. I know it's small. Drastic drop in mortality from heart disease because of creating that one procedure. So did Ancel Keys fix the problem? No. Did cholesterol ever figure out why it was there? No. Did we get better at technology and screening where we could find the blockage, poof it open, and put a stent there to keep the blood flow increasing? Yes. Did that make heart disease rates go down? Yes. Did they fix the problem? No. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you have to understand this. Your heart is connected to so much more than just blood flow. Did you know that hormones can regulate your heart function? Did you know your digestive system can regulate your heart function? Did you know your nervous system can regulate your heart function? So can your respiratory, lymphatic, detox, your emotions, and even more. So look, what we know today is this. The elevated cholesterol that plaques to the artery that blocks it is not the cause. That would be like blaming the firemen for the cause of the fire. Well, God, there's a lot of firemen at this fire. God, there's so many firemen. In fact, they've blocked the streets with their trucks, and there's so many firemen that they're causing the problem. Do you see where I'm going with this? You would never say that, but yet cholesterol is a fireman. It puts the fire out. So the question should be, what is the fire? And guess what? The answer is inside this ebook for you. The Diet Heart Myth ebook that I just finished writing shows you what is the cause of heart disease, and better yet, how do you reverse it yourself? You want the ebook? It's free, 704-906-2094. And you also get access to the free Carolina Holistic Heart Summit that I'm hosting on the 16th of July. Is that like a month from now? Yes, but guess what? It's going to fill up, so register now. So what is it that really causes heart disease? Guys, this is going to come as a shock to you. I've got 10 minutes to do this, more than enough time. You've been told it's cholesterol and saturated fat. You've been told that it's laziness and you're not eating well and you're not exercising and bad luck and your genes are bad. Thanks to Ancel Keys, we have said cholesterol is the devil. We have said saturated fat should be burned at the stake. And at the steak, get it? Like, get rid of the steaks, burn the steak, there goes the saturated fats. And it's the reason why heart disease is so bad today. But think about it. Don't you choose low fat over high fat? You got sucked into a lie. This hypothesis was never fully proven correct, and technically it's been disproven hundreds of times. Now, in the 21st century, the science we have today and all of the publications has given functional medicine a much greater answer as to what is exactly going on with the cholesterol and why is it plaquing in the arteries. And you're going to hear it from me for the first time ever. It's called rubbernecking. Cholesterol rubbernecking. No one is talking about this. I came up with the terminology myself because I think you'll understand this. When there is an accident on the road, on the opposite side of the street, there will be traffic on the opposite side of the street because of the accident. But on the side you're going on, which is opposite of the accident, there is also traffic. Why? Because everybody slows down and goes, whoa, what's going on over there? I wonder how much death and misery. Can I see a broken leg perhaps? Like, we're attracted to the fact that there was an accident. It's human nature. So watch. The accident is the damage, correct? Psh, cars explode. There's gas on the floor. There's EMS and fire and police. And the opposite side, which is completely unobstructed, no problems, also backs up because of rubbernecking. Now watch this. Cholesterol rubbernecks. It hangs out where there's damage and disease created by inflammation. So what you should be asking yourself is, okay, so you have a blocked left anterior descending artery. Yeah, why wasn't the right one blocked? What? Nobody asks that. Why the left and not the right? Why the front and not the back? Why the proximal and not the distal? How come it's here and not there? No one asks this. They just go, oh, blocked artery, heart disease, stents, statins, blood thinners. Have a nice day. So now they've got it wrong. Cholesterol rubbernecks. It hangs out where the inflammation is within your heart. Ready for this? It's going to come as a shock to you. The main cause of inflammation in your heart, the main cause of cholesterol sticking to the arteries, the main cause of atherosclerosis, the main cause of heart disease is sugar, grains, and inflammation. Did you know that at the same time Ancel Keys was coming up with the lipid hypothesis, there was a group of Harvard scientists that were coming up with the sugar hypothesis? Did you know this? Their studies showed that sugar causes a specific rise in inflammation of the arteries, and they singled out fructose and sucrose as being the culprits. According to the research, elevations in sugar consumption led to elevation in blood sugar, which led to damage of the artery. Now remember, Ancel Keys was like, no, it's elevation of fat in the diet causes elevated cholesterol, which causes blockage. Now, the Harvard study said elevated sugar consumption causes sugar to be in your blood, which damages the artery, and then the cholesterol shows up to plug up all the holes. Well, listen to this. Did you know that we have something called the Sugar Research Foundation, which is now known as the Sugar Association? And when they got wind of the Harvard research, they went, whoa, wait a second. We don't want Americans to go low sugar because sugar's in everything, and we love our sugar today. So they paid those Harvard researchers to just do one thing. Hey, can you switch the study to say fat causes heart disease? Like it's you eat a lot of fat, you get a lot of cholesterol and triglycerides, and you block the arteries. Like we, as the sugar conglomerates, want fat to be blamed. Oh, by the way, there's this guy named Ancel Keys who came up with all of it already, and the doctors are salivating over this because we just discovered something called a statin, which lowers fat and cholesterol. So unfortunately, those Harvard scientists took the bribe, they fudged the results, and they published one of the most scandalous articles in the history of cardiovascular medicine. And it wasn't uncovered until 2016. Now listen, the Journal of American Medical Association Internal Medicine Division wrote an article titled this. Listen to this. The Sugar Industry and Coronary Heart Disease, a Historical Analysis of Internal Documents. Ready for this? A group of Harvard scientists were challenged to fudge their results. Their study showed what we now know is true. When you eat sugar or grains and you become inflamed, you have a spike in blood sugar, very high. Shoosh, spike. It's like glass, guys. It goes around and it cuts the arteries as the blood is flowing all around. If there's inflammation, you microscopically leak fluid. It's like a micro stroke. Your brain goes, oh, there's damage to the artery. We're leaking. It's like a hull breach. Red alert, leak. And the liver goes like this. I got your back. I got this sticky, waxy substance I can secrete called cholesterol, and it's attracted to the inflammation. It's going to go straight to it, so it won't get stuck in your eyes. It won't get stuck in the brain. It won't get stuck in your toes. It'll go straight to the damage from the artery, and it'll seal it. And what it'll do is it'll decrease the inflammation as long as the host no longer eats sugar. Well, we love our sugar, don't we? And we love our grains. Bread products, cookies, cakes, crackers, pastas, you name it, pizza. And we love our low-fat everything, don't we? Well, I'll have a pizza with low-fat cheese, and I'll drink a low-fat beer, and I'll have low-fat sugar. Good Lord, people. The research says carbohydrates, grains, and inflammation cause heart disease. In fact, there are even cardiologists that are quite famous. Dr. Oz is one. Dr. Jack Wolfson is another one, who are divorcing their relationships with the American Heart Association and are now saying there's a myth floating around that your diet causes heart disease. It does, but not with what you were told. It is not cholesterol. It's not saturated fats. It is bread products, grains, and sugar. Now, there we go. I've got 2 minutes remaining before the show ends, and next week we're going to go deep into all of it. Okay, so how do we fix this then? So series number 1 is going to talk about what are the 3 steps you can do to reverse heart disease. Series number 2, how do we deal with high cholesterol properly and high blood pressure? And series 3, how do we solve it for all and prevent each of you, including your kids, from having heart disease? We're going to take the next 3 weeks We're going to get to the heart of the matter. Do you see it? The heart of the matter. And right now is your chance to join us for that entire series. Get the ebook, it's free. Get the webinar, it's free. And tune in every Saturday for the next 3 weeks at 3 o'clock. So how do we do that? Well, first, let's download the ebook, 704-906-2094. Text it now. Guys, like right now, name and email now. Don't send just your name. Don't send over, send me the ebook. We need your name and your email. We know what it means. Boom, ebook goes to you, and boom, you get registered for the webinar. The webinar is on Saturday, July 16th. It'll be at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's super easy, and it's the Carolina Holistic Heart Summit, where I'm going to teach you everything you need, the tests and the involvements and what you do at home to fix your heart for good. So high cholesterol, gone. Blood pressure elevated, back to normal. Triglycerides, back to normal. No more statins. You can solve it yourself, but you have to take action. 704-906-2094. No more Mediterranean diet, because technically that doesn't exist. No more low fat. So good news, you can eat all the fat you want as long as it's the healthy heart fat. So we will reveal those next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a blessed day. And don't forget, 704-906-2094. Once more, 704-906-2094. Text your name and your email right now, or call the call center. They'll take your information, and the ebook is yours free. I mean, guys, how much greater can it be than to get a free book that shows you the foods that damage your heart, what to avoid, the foods you should eat, the whole history behind it, and the secrets that how you can test at home to find out if you have a heart issue before you're aware of it. It's the #1 killer in the United States. It's completely asymptomatic. You can't feel it, and you can test it yourself. 704-906-2094. Thanks for tuning in. It's been an honor. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, be blessed.